Hi, this is another game dev log, and these are the best instant impact pets for every tier. So picture this, you're on turn 7 and you got 3 gold and only 1 heart remaining. You level up into a tier 5. Which pet do you hope to get? Which pet would you prefer to stay alive, to keep winning? That's basically what an instant impact pet is. So I actually prepared some graphics. Hopefully I am quick enough with OBS to make this work. Subscribe for more high effort, not game log content. So these are the rules I set for myself. So I only speak here about standard, customs and arena. Of course, very different pets get very different values in their own packs and in versus where you can counter. I only take into account level 1 base stats. Pets, so just you get them in level up or in their own tier, you buy them and then we take their immediate effect on the next battle. We're not looking for dependencies, so that means no dependencies of other pets, no dependencies on held foods, no dependencies on toys, just one empty spot, bring the pet in and win. No toys. This main reason for excluding toys is you don't want to disrupt the rest of your build, and if you already have a toy, then no toys. So that's otherwise Puppy, I think, for example, would and also Stingray would rate very high with toilet roll and the weakness giver, the stat remover. We look at the value in their own tiers or even one tier lower if you get it on level up. So some of these pets get more valuable later in the game, for example Skunk, but in its own game, in its own level, in its own tier rather, it's not that strong yet. No hard countering, so we that's of course because it's arena, it's not really possible, but we're not looking at high roll effects. We want to have the maximum chance against any opponent of having big instant impact. We're only looking at the current in-battle effect, so if pets also have effects on later turns, for example scaling or whatever, we don't take that into account. And the most important thing is it should make the difference, so it should turn a loss into a draw or a draw into a win. Is that it? Yeah, also this pack, so let's get back to the pack. And I made this cute inlay. This pack also, that was a restriction I put for myself, also is a customs pack, a standard customs pack. So that's why this really is not the real top 10 in some cases, because I was not allowed to take more than 2 summoned pets, for example. Let's dive in. So I put these hearts here. Can I select them? Yes. So to get my shortlist, and then I'll show my number 1. So tier 1, we have the Ant, the classic Ant. I think in Turtle Pack it can often help win early turns by giving the 1/1 health. Not sure if I'm going to discuss them all, but let's start like that. Then we have Cricket, the first summoner. We have Moth, which if you just put it in the front in the current state, it's a 3/3, which should at least trade with almost any pet and maybe even trade 2 for 1. Or you can buff a low health pet with high, a low attack pet with high health for even more effect. Then we have Firefly. This is one of a series. You can already look ahead here of more draw type pets. If you put this in the back, you have a good chance of at least drawing. Then we have Hummingbird, and Hummingbird is basically, to me, like, this is the first interesting thing I think, it's basically like a better Ant, because it gives also 1/1 by virtue of the strawberry, and it is always focused to the back. So if I had the choice between these two, I always take Hummingbird, and the 3 attack, if it doesn't get sniped, also allows it to trade a lot better. Then we have Barghest. This is one of the pets is in every pack of mine. This similar always helps to at least trade because the backline is weakened. Then we have Budgie, which we have to compare with Cricket because it's also a summoner, and it's a 1/2 that summons another tier 1, and that will always have higher stats than except if it summons itself. That can happen than Cricket. So if it doesn't get sniped, if the food doesn't get replaced, and that's very rare in tier in the early turns, it's way stronger than Cricket. Then we have Nudibranch. This is by far the highest stats pet, and it's a bit weak. It gets a little deduction for me because it's actually way stronger in later turns, because in the early turns you also want to collect duplicates for tier ups in later turns, so that weakens it a bit. But if you have a level 2, it can even be still very strong in tier 5, 6, turn 5, 6, 7. This is a very late addition. I did some runs with this pack, and Pick Me Seahorse is actually way stronger than I thought in these early turns. Getting 3 extra stats, it's really strong. Even if you play a 2 squad, basically a 2 squad in the first turn, so you have Pick Me Seahorse and 2 other pets, you can very easily still win by virtue of these extra 1/1 stats on both other pets. So very underrated pet, I think, for the early turns. Although I still cannot look for a very long time at this graphic, because I get very spooked out by all these red pumps. And then we have Sneaky Egg, also something that will really trade very well in the early turns by virtue of his 4 attack. Similar to Pig. Pig, of course, not here, because the main thing is that it gives you money later, and we're interested in instant impact. So now I'm gonna put the hearts on my short list in my notes here. So wait a second. No, not yet. No. Wait, okay, so bear with me for 1 second. I think I'm selecting the wrong thing. Can I select now? There we go. So 1 heart. So this is the top 4 basically. And also, of course, very curious to hear which pets are fully missing in this pack, which pets are robbed for tier 1, which are your favorite pets, because this is, to me, one of the most interesting concepts, these instant impact pets. Not sure why, but I've been thinking about this a long time. I've been babbling about this in other videos, but really let me know which ones are missing, which ones are overpowered. And bear in mind these rules in the bottom right here, because some of them are only missing because of those rules. So you could make another list with different restrictions. And then let me put the favorite in the short list. So 1 goes to the Hummingbird. I think it's way stronger than Ant. Can I please select it? Well, okay, I'll select this one. So the other one goes to Barghest. I'll just do it like this. Then I'll do one to the Budgie, because it's stronger than Ant. And the last one, which is this one, will go to Pick Me Seahorse. So that's my top 4. These other ones are also strong, but not as strong as these for various reasons. And then drum roll, hopefully I do this correct, otherwise I will spoil anything. I will put the trophy up on the head, which I think is the best instant impact pets to always take if you want to win early and do not care about future turns. Tier 1 pet is the Budgie, and it actually surprised me when I worked on this, because I went through it quite a lot. But yeah, it's true. And again, of course, thanks to these other 3, 4 very good contenders, but Budgie is to me the strongest tier 1 pet. Also quickly go through the foods. These are the instant impact foods. Did I prepare it? Oh, I did prepare it. So I chose mana. I think, well, of course, you don't want to buy foods early, but I think if you buy that, you get a 3 damage snipe, which is always a kill basically in these early turns. On to tier 2. So we have Beluga Sturgeon, also for me a classic, always bring in to survive. I always buy this when I see it. Summoning at 2-3 is very good. Then we have Spider. Well, it's direct competitor with Beluga Sturgeon. Somehow I place Beluga Sturgeon way more, but I think Spider should be better, especially if you prepared good tier 3s like we have in this pack. It has a little bit lower stats, but the high roll potential is way better because you can summon a sheep, for example, or whatever, betta fish. Then we have, excuse me, a newcomer, Honduran White Bat. Also, with it 1/1 stats, still very strong, I think, because if you also have already leveled into a tier 3 pet, it gives you a 3/3 golden doggo. Well, maybe not that strong now that I think about it if you compare it to this in early turns, so that's that. Then Sea Urchin, this is one of the pets that also with stat reduction basically always gets a little bit stronger in later turns. It will, because it's only 5 health, will not go into insanely strong levels like Skunk, but very strong early pet. The pet behind it will always trade. Then we have Drop Bear, the strongest jump pet, I think, 3 damage. Again, also will always be a kill, but it's only a 2/2, so not too strong, I think. And then we have Frost Wolf, the biggest sprite at least. And this is a very strong pet. And there are some themes of what are the best ways to create instant impact, and ailments are a big part of that for both the health food replacement and the extra damage that it can cause. And in the early turns there will not be a lot of health foods to replace, but still the pet behind this will always do +5 damage, so it's insanely strong. Then we have Thunderbird, so that's one of the other teams. To give a bit of mana, can help a lot. A 3 damage, not a 3 damage snipe similar to Drop Bear. Well, this snipe will be random, but it will always be on the front pet, so that's quite good. Then Hedgehog, more a drawer than a winner, but still very strong contender, I think. Because of that, it's still very important to eke out draws and keep hearts like that. Then we have Flamingo. It's, I think, the only stat giver in this tier. Also a classic pet. It was underrated in my head for a bit, and then it was overrated. I always took it because I thought, well, I can pill it, but it's quite expensive way to get 2/2 stats, or if you level it up to get 2/2 stats twice. So not that strong anymore, I think. Then we have Bat, and Bat is also a pet that gets way stronger in later turns. So in its own turn it's not that strong yet, because the weakness doesn't add that much. It's very weak with its own stats, so I think it goes down. So it's one of those that's stronger in later turns and does not even, spoiler, make the short list. So now I'm going to fiddle with these hearts again to move them to my short list for tier 2. So what is your favorite so far? Let's see if you can predict mine. So let me check. The first heart will go to the short list. Is it in order? Let's just do it in order. Is Beluga Sturgeon. Yeah, I think I do not know. I did choose it above Spider, but I think I'm gonna change my mind and I'll put it above Spider, and I'll just have to know I will take Spider more often. 2/2 spawning a 2/2 versus a 2/3 spawning a 2/3, but the Spider spawn can have an ability in and of itself, so I'll just change my shortlist on the go. Next up is, let me see, Sea Urchin. Yeah, I already said everything I want to say about that. Next up is Frost Wolf. And then we have Thunderbird. So that's my 4, or the, to create controversy. These are the 4 strongest instant impact pets of tier 4. Again, taking into account these rules I put in the view. And then drum roll, what will be the winner? So I think I already said why the rest didn't make the shortlist. And for me, this is a clear winner. And I don't think anybody will say differently. But let me know, it is the Frostwolf. So Frostwolf, yeah, I think it's by far the strongest pet. And it also has a 2/3 stat line, which isn't the worst. And if you have, for example, 2 behind each other, you can just go rampage. And you keep it for very long, even though it doesn't... give it points in my new rules. And then quickly go through the foods. Best instant impact food here, I think, in the early turns is cherries, because you can still get the trumpets. Also one of the returning instant impact methods that can add to any team. 2 trumpets is just another 2/2 pet. Let's go to tier 3. So you already of course can see them. So go ahead and think what's your best tier 3. If you watch more of my videos, maybe you can already predict what's my current favorite tier 3 instant impact pet. Let's go through them. Dolphin. I very often take Dolphin. It's the 4 damage at these early turns. If you get it on turn 3, it's a clear kill. And even in later turns, it's very strong and it has nice stats. So very good early instant impact pet. Then we have Anteater. It summons a 1/1 ant. So that's another 3/3 in stats to the pets behind. If everything works out. A little bonus for being able to pill and sell, but we do not give points for that right here. Then we have Patagonia Mara. This is a very new pet, but it always spawns a 4/4. And if you have other trumpets, for example with Cherry, it can summon very big pet and also very early. So that's the biggest change compared with the other trumpet pets, of course. And then we have Brain Cramp. This is the terror of every weekly and a lot of pets. So but if you just buy it and you put 0 stats on top of it, then it's a 3/2 with Melon if it even triggers, because it can very easily be Dolphin sniped. So it is strong, but when you just buy it with no buffs, it's a little bit worse. But early Melon, of course, very strong. Then we have Dimetrodon, a very fun looking guy, a very friendly looking guy. That has basically 2 abilities, and that makes it also very strong. So if for some reason you're running a 4 squad, you summon a 5/5, which is better than the 4/4 of the Mara. And otherwise you can give every pet 1/1 in stats, which is, of course, very easy to make a difference. So I buy this a lot, but maybe this 1/1 extra stats, I overrate it, but I still like it a lot. And if you compare it, for example, with the Pygmy Seahorse that gives 1/1 stats to 3 pets and then removes itself, but this 1/3, that's not the biggest difference. So it's not even that much stronger than the Pygmy Seahorse in a way. Do not skip over. Betta Fish is the follow-up to the Stat Giver. 4/2 in stats, a big attack. So always will trade, very nice pill target, but doesn't count. But 4/2 in extra stats, if you have this in early turns, it's a huge advantage. Then we have Porcupine. So Porcupine, also shout out to the Badger. So I a little bit did try to pick between Badger and Porcupine, and I removed Badger here because it could also fit in here for same reason as the Hedgehog, as the Firefly, because it's a good back draw creator. But the Porcupine is a bit of a hidden gem in my head, maybe, because I will add it to more packs, I think, from now on. Because it can at least get 1 shot off, maybe 2. Well, maybe not always 1, because the opponent has to live, but it trades very well and can even trade 2 for 1, I think. So that's why I added this in favor of Badger, but I'm still doubting. So maybe put a half Badger in your head here. Then we have Fur-Bearing Trout, which gives, that's the mana pet of this tier in a way. It's 3/5, so it got very nice base stats, and then it gives the Rambutan to a pet in the back, which allows for more snipes. Then we have Toad, which basically also has the downside that Bat has. It gets stronger in later tiers, I think, or later turns, but it's way stronger than Bat in the early turns, whereas Bat, maybe you rather take Bat to the end game than Toad for its perk removal abilities, but a back Toad is always annoying to face, which means it's good to take, especially if you have low attack in your other pets. And then also a late addition is Blue Dragon, which also, as a side note, has one of the weirdest poses in the game, because this is the only pet, as I parse it correctly, that's viewn from the top. Really weird pose. But it can either give trumpets or give mana. 4 mana or 4 trumpets or a combination of both. So that's quite nice. But the fact that the mana is spread makes it kind of annoying to me, because then you get these tiny snipes, and then to get the 4 trumpets you have to put it in the front, which often you have other pets you want to put in the front, so that is a bit fiddly. So now we go back to the moving of the hearts for the short list. Place your bets. So my top 4 of these is the dolphin. Very good sniper, classic one. Is it the first one? Maybe it is the first one. Or did I give Spider from Turtle Pack? Then we have the Patagonia Mara. This one is behind the other. Whoop. Let me check. I gave it to Dimetrodon. And in my shortlist I gave it to Porcupine, but that's not right to me. I'm not gonna give it to Porcupine here. So I made this list a couple days ago and I'm already doubting. So what do I give it to? Well, maybe it is still good, but because the other ones are not that great either. So I think this top 3 is quite nice. And maybe I'll give it to the Betta Fish here. So of course you already know that that's not gonna be the winner. So without further ado, but with a drum roll, let's go into the trophy. Well, I don't think this is a big surprise. The trophy goes to Patagonia Mara. It allows for a lot of draws, a lot of wins. You can just put it in the back for an extra 4 summon. So great pet. Let's go through the foods. I gave my tier 3 instant effect food to Fig, which is basically a half win for Dolphin, because it's just Dolphin as a fruit. But of course, Brussels Sprout in these early turns is always very strong, because absorbing 5 damage will keep almost everything alive for 1 hit. And the Gingerbread Man is way stronger in later turns. Let's go to tier 4. And let me move the rules. So you can already look at the foods, which is not that important. So tier 4 we have the deer. Always an classic instant impact pet. Put it in the front. You get the 5/3 buzz with chili, which means 5 damage to 2 pets behind, one or the front pet and the one behind. Very good. Then we have Donkey. Big stats, so don't forget that. And a way to disrupt many teams. So because you put the back friend to the front, the back enemy to the front, it will almost always get traded very nicely, because your front pet will be big and it can destroy some teams that depend heavily on their back pet, which maybe come in a little later than turn 5 or 7. Then we have Platypus. Of course it has the added bonus of being a very nice cell pet as well. But summoning 2 3/3 pets, yeah, that's very strong. Of course it can be disrupted by snipes only summoning 1 pet, but it's a very strong pet. Then we have Rock, which gives 6 mana. You can choose a bit how to spread it. And that's again one of the themes. Mana is strong if the deal is nice. So here, for example, this mana and this mana did not like enough, but this mana I do like a lot, and I take Rock a lot, I think, for instant impact purposes. Then we have Turtle, our beloved, our classic, our friend. Should get a shout out always, but also I think a very nice pet. Even without the pilling, you can get early melon again. Early melon, maybe also a theme. I did not include Ox, but I could have. Early melon, good, basically. Then we have Tar, which is basically the offensive version of the turtle. So giving Chili can also run Rampage on still turn 5, 6 teams, because the 5 damage similar to Deer can do a lot of damage. Then we have cuttlefish. I almost forgot about this pet. I never take it, and somehow in my head I think it needs a trumpet, but that's, I think, just because of the squid. But it doesn't need a trumpet. So we have an ailment pet, which gives inked, which is one of the weirdest ailments, and also to the back. But it also just is an 8-4 stat line, which is insane. So bigger stat line than many turn 5 pets, maybe bigger stat line than some tier 6 pets. So I think this has grown a lot on me since I was working on this video, and I can bring it very easy. And this inked can also can make a lot of difference if you're only down to 2 pets each in the back, because many back pets will only do 1 damage with inked. Then we have Visitor, also very good base stats, 7-5 attack, and then giving icky, replacing food, and also allowing the to trade the next pet very nicely, similar to Frostwolf. It has the downside of giving your own pet icky as well, so in a way, in very early turns you prefer Frostwolf even, but if you're in turn 7, in turn 8, even later, Visitor can make a huge difference and disrupt all defensive foods and allow a, I don't know, 5-6 attack pet behind to trade very well. So very strong instant impact pet to me. Then also a very new pet, the Racket-tail. Added it very late. Of course, there's now been some nice strawberry weeklies, so that shows us the power of that. I also had Roadrunner for a while here, but decided to remove it in favor of other pets. But Racket-tail is nice. It gives you strawberry and 5 attack, and this 5 attack to the front is like a moth on steroids, basically. And then the strawberry gives 1-1 to the pet in the back. Well, now that I'm talking it, I'm trying to talk it up, but it's still, if you don't do anything with the strawberry, it's not that insanely strong. The 5 attack is nice. The strawberry can also be a downside because it can remove other health pets or health perks. And then we have Hawk. Hawk, strong. You can do 7 damage to the front pet or insta-kill almost every back pet in these turns. So a very strong pet, 7 damage. Yeah, that will disrupt a whole lot of teams. So let's go to my top 4. What is your top 4? What is your top 1 out of these? Did I forget anyone that would still allow for a standard pack? Let's move some hearts. I did not put them in order, I think. One in the shortlist is the rock. Then the next one is the cuttlefish. Some of these really surprised myself. Cuttlefish being one of them, because I forget about it a lot. Then the next one is the visitor. And the next one is the hawk to me. So that means that the other ones are strong. I really love to give Donkey another shout out for it being so funny. But sadly it did not make the cut. Let's go to the number 1 strongest tier 4 instant impact pet. And it is the rock. I think here it's very close. I think cuttlefish and yeah, all 4 have very big chances. But in the end I often take rock. So that means it is strong, even though it only does 6 damage compared to the hawk. Maybe spreading the damage will work out better. A little bit more flexibility. So that's it for the rock and for our first mana winner. So we have a summoner, a ailment giver, a trumpet, and now a mana winner. I did not plan this out, but it's nice to see that it's divided. And then for foods, and I think the biggest instant impact food here, although they are all 3 very strong, is the oyster mushroom. Shout out the oyster mushroom. If you already have 1 instant impact pet, well, most teams will have at least 1 pet with an in-battle ability, I hope. You can just convert one of the scalers or other technical pets to have 2 instant impact pets in battle. So especially in combination with these pets here, very strong health food. Let's go to tier 5. So tier 4 and tier 5, but mostly tier 5 I think is the heart of the instant impact pets. These are the turns you want to survive. This is also how this concept grew in my mind from these pets. So there's a lot of pets missing here. It was quite tough for both of these to get a good list, and also with the tags of the custom rules, many of them are disruptors. So some of them are stronger than others, but did not make it because they didn't fit in the top 2 disruptors. Let's go through them all. Crocodile, I think this is to me the arch father of instant impact pets. Always since the beginning, you can just take this for a couple of turns, do 8 damage, remove the last enemy, and also have 8 attack. No, don't forget that. So you can put it in the front as well with this very big attack. Then we have Scorpion. Still no melon in many cases, so very nice instant impact pet. You can also bring it in 1 or 2 turns. You don't see it a lot, and I don't play it a lot, so somehow it's not that popular. But I think for exactly these rules, because one of the reasons you don't take it is it falls off very quickly. There's no leveling, so maybe that's exactly within these rules it's even a little bit stronger than I give it credit for. Then we have Eagle, yeah, a very strong pet, especially again if you prepare the pack a bit. Similar to Spider, the high rolls are insane. You can go Eagle Orca, you can go Eagle Phoenix, you can go whatever, so a very strong pet. And even if in the earlier turns you can go Eagle Nyala. Not sure if Eagle can go into Eagle. Might be, I don't know, I think it can. Then we have Nyala, also a very strong, so this is a very stacked lineup. You can also always bring it in 8 trumpets, that's a lot. You summon an 8/8. In this tier the highest summon was 2 3/3s, and now we can summon an 8/8. And for a long time it was bigger instant impact than, for example, the Highland Cow, because on base stat it does, I don't know how many trumpets, but it's not 8, it's a lot less, so very good contender here. Then we have Boitada, which got buffed and now is, it's kind of in a similar vein to me as the Porcupine. It's maybe just because the big health, but it trades also quite well as if you put it in front, because it disrupts the ailments, and then you can destroy a lot. Then we have Red Dragon, and Red Dragon is kind of a competitor to Crocodile, obviously targeting the last pet, and I had a lot of doubts, and I don't think I still made up my mind about which one is stronger compared to Crocodile and Red Dragon, because one of them removes the basically go through, it does a little bit less damage, this one, but it can go through all health foods, remove mushroom. It's not there in this tier, so maybe a little bit subtracted point for that. And of course it allows the back pet to live for 1 turn, already being able to do some damage. So maybe the fact that there's no mushroom yet makes the difference for now right on the spot for Crocodile being a bit stronger, but it's very strong still, I think, to me. And also a very bad combination because it's very anti-synergistic. This having a higher attack, maybe it's not that bad. Then we have Werewolf. Well, it's 50% of the time you can bring in a 14/14 pet, which is exactly the same size as a Behemoth, because it's 12/12 and we get 2/2. And you can get it on turn 7, so bringing in a turn 7 14/14 is insane, but of course it works only half the time. Then we have Nurikabe. With even 1 or 2 more base stats, it would be a monster, and I still think it's a monster even with this base stats, because if you put it in the back, it can easily trade 2 for 1 or even 3 for 1, because in a way it has 10 health, because it will at least block 4 damage, and maybe it even has 14 health, 18 health, so a very strong instant impact pet even without any stats. And I think it's a bit in the same vein as Brain Cramp, even giving it 1/1 more or 2/2 more, it becomes a monster. Then we have Kappa, that's our summoner. Well, Eagle is the other summoner, so we have to compare with that. And in a way, Nyala is a summoner. It's a weird pet, but if you put it on the front, it will often not create space on the opponent, so it will summon a 14/16 just for us. And it's a tier 3 that we can pick. Not sure if the opponent gets out of their pack or out of our pack if it's not a symmetrical battle. I assume it comes out of the opponent's pack, but summoning a 14/16 and if you're lucky not for the opponent, yeah, that's of course insane. But maybe in these turns some front pets are already in these ranges of stats, but still a very strong bring-in that I do not take a lot. And pilling it can be fun as well for just a big stat injection. And then we have Fire Ant. I think also a bit underrated pet. I don't take it a lot, so I'm not sure if there's a reason for that or it's just underrated. Because if you put this on the front, you have 8 attack in the front. It's clearly targets. You can clearly predict where the other 8 attack goes, and then you are giving 8 attack. Compare that to giving 5 attack here. So maybe a bit underrated, but not a winner, spoiler alert. So now I'm going to move all the hearts. Which out of these ones is your favorite instant pact? And if you impact pet, and if you have something else than me, you're wrong. So let's start moving some hearts. So one goes to, so I decided that I take Crocodile, but Red Dragon gets a bit of a half shared podium. At least, and then we take one of them is Eagle. I think, yeah, this is a very strong pet. Some cases I prefer it over Orca because it's a little bit more predictable. But Orca does spawn 6/6s, but it can be very, well, that's the whole point. It can be very random whether it's something good. Let's take the heart out of this and put it above Nyala. Well, yes, I think I said enough about that. And then we have one more to divide, and it goes to a surprise winner, Kappa. I think Nurikabe will be a good contender as well, but I think maybe Kappa is a bit more flexible exactly under these circumstances. Imagine bringing this in turn 7, for example, and put it in on the front. And then we go to the winner. Which is your winner? My winner is very clear here. And it is the Nyala. I think this is still the classic instant impact bring-in pet. I think Eagle would be second, and then the rest. Then quickly go to the instant impact food. And I gave it here to Eggplant. Maybe put it on the second spot or on the last spot, and you can disrupt a lot of teams, although maybe everybody is just playing big stats and it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's still a fun pet, and maybe a partial shout out to the donkey. I can check out the time, but I know I'm rambling for very long, so quickly let's go into tier 6. If you're still with me again, leave a subscribe, leave a like. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hearing my thoughts on this game, and please share your thoughts on this concept. Let's jump in tier 6. So we have Orca. I spoke a little bit about it already. It summons a 6/6, which is always nice. Very random pet. So I don't like it that much for that, because you can just get a random not trumpet neither without any trumpets, and then you're just spawning a 6/6. But sometimes you get insane spawns as well, and it is a lot of fun. But that's not part of the rules here, but it can give a lot of fun and interesting variations. Then we have Stegosaurus. Well, this is also one that grows stronger during later turns, quite literally. So in turn 9 it gives a 9/9 to another pet. There will be most of the time still pets without a perk if you get it this early, or it gives 11/11, so that's quite a big buff. But sometimes you have too little perks to target it nicely to the front where you want the stats. Then we have a new friend, the Rockhopper Penguin. I think it's a very strong pet and a very strong contender. It gives 12 trumpets, so that makes it way stronger on bring-in than the Highland Cow. But it can get sniped. It can just not go off, and then then it's nothing. It's a very weak tier 6 stat line, and this quite often get disrupted. But if you get the 12 trumpets, that's of course huge. Then we have Phoenix, a classic thing to put on the back, for me at least, to be a drawer and a winner. Because of the summon, it's kind of like a honey badger sometimes. So this is something that you can bring in to extend the game very nicely. A very strong, very beautiful art as well. Pet, one downside being that if it gets sniped, you can destroy your own team. Then we have another new pet, the Winter Spirit. And this is the mana pet of this tier. It gives more mana than the Sleipnir. So that's why I put it in. But I think it should get a little bit of deduction because it's not an in-battle ability. So I did add it here, but I could have added then maybe Hatching Chick as well. Maybe, well, Hatching Chick is maybe a bad example because it would count more than this. So the reason this is not fully allowed is that after 2 turns you will get 6/6 mana because the mana stays around for the next turn basically. So this is so I think we only give it points for giving 2 times for 4 mana, and that makes it a lot weaker than its full potential. Then we have Bakunawa. I didn't play with this a lot, so this might be the one I know the least about how strong it is. Might be way stronger than I give it credit for, so I have to play with this a bit more. So removing the health food of the highest attack enemy, of course, already very strong, and then doing half damage for 1 attack, I think. Yeah, maybe that allows to convert some wins into draws into wins, etc. But I have to play with it a little bit more. Then we have Saber-Tooth Tiger. Well, it's guaranteed to summon a Mammoth, which gives 2/2 to the 4 pets behind if you put the Saber-Tooth Tiger in front. So it's stronger than a Mammoth in a way because you also have this trigger. But Mammoth, it could be half a spot for Mammoth as well. But these 2/2 stats to 4 pets are not that huge most of the time in my experience. But I know some people that think way higher of that. But maybe also for the pill ability. Then we have Cockatrice, a bit of a wild card, a very high chances of not doing anything useful, or maybe not doing anything, but sometimes it fully disrupts the team. So a very funny pet, but you see it very rarely, and there's good reasons why. And then we have the Mantis Shrimp, which is kind of the opposite of the crocodile. I take it a lot, but I'm always a bit skeptical because these 10 damage can very easily make no difference at all. Can even trigger hurt effects, and it's not a lot more than what crocodile does. So I think maybe this is in customs a bit weak. Maybe giving it a bit more damage or another way to improve it would make it a bit better. But it is still a classic just bring in tier 6 ability. And then I added Lion, and that's one reason I first had Behemoth here. Which is stronger because you bring in a 14-14, guaranteed 14-14. But I was playing with this pack doing actual battles, and then you cannot take the Behemoth because it scales out of control. So I added Lion. If you get it on turn 9, you can bring in a 10-10 pet. And the fact that it rounds down instead of up to 11-11 maybe even makes a big difference. So it's fun. I think I'm going to play with this some more because the fact that it is in tier 6 is in a way a buff, I think, compared to it being tier 5, because you can still use other tier 5s. But basically you just bring in a 10-10 according to the rules of my concept, so it's not that strong. And then for the final top 4 list, choose your own pick. Which one do you think is the most instant impact? Which one do you think I will get? Let's move some hearts around. And let's start with the... Let's start with the Orca. Let's start with... Or let's follow up with the Rockhopper Penguin. Very nice newcomer. And I think I still select the Orca for being a summon, which is always good. Then let's give one to the Phoenix. And let's give one to the one that I know least about, but I have to pick it from under the trophy, which is Bakunawa. I think it deserves the tier 5 top 4 spot. But out of these, maybe you can already see that Orca and Bakunawa will not get it. And I think the downside of, or the ease with which Rockhopper will not trigger brings its demise. So no drum roll needed. For me, the instant impact best tier 6 pet is the Phoenix. And then for food, I actually did not put melon. I did not put mushroom. Both very strong tier 6 pets, but depending on there's too much dependency of having stats or having a useful resummon pet. So actually it goes here for me to Steak, doing 20 attack. Yeah, that's very nice, especially in this pack, specific pack. So I think that's it. So let's go through the 6 winners again. Maybe I'll select a super winner, but maybe that makes no sense. So we have Budgie, a summoner. We have Frostwolf, a ailment giver. We have Patagonia Mara, a trumpet summoner / summoner. Then we have Rock the mana pet. They're following a nice row here. It's accidental, I swear. Then we have Nyala, another trumpet / summoner. And then we have maybe I'll put that at 1 just for having 2 archetypes at once. We have Phoenix, the ailment plus summoner, the best impact pet in the game. I think that's it for today. Very nice if you enjoyed this. Again, I appreciate any thoughts on this. And in any case, thanks for watching and thanks for listening.